Determine all critical numbers for the function f of x equals x squared minus 9 divided by x plus 5. Critical numbers are the x values that make the numerator and the denominator of the derivative equal to 0 and are in the domain of the function. The first thing to do is find the domain. F of x equals x squared minus 9 divided by x plus 5. It has a denominator, and the denominator cannot equal 0 for the domain. Subtracting 5 from both sides, and x cannot equal a negative 5. So the domain is all real numbers except negative 5. That means it starts from negative infinity up to negative 5, not including round bracket on the negative 5. Starts up again at negative 5 to positive infinity. That domain is all real numbers except for negative 5. The next thing to do is find the derivative. F prime of x equals, we have a quotient here. We'll make use of the quotient rule. Derivative of the numerator, 2x times the denominator left alone, x plus 5, minus the numerator left alone, x squared minus 9, times the derivative of the denominator, which is a 1, all over the denominator squared. In the numerator, we can distribute the 2x in here, which will give 2x squared plus 10x. And we can distribute the negative 1 in here, which will give a negative x squared plus 9 over, and we will leave the denominator alone. In the numerator, we can combine like terms together. There's a 2x squared and a negative x squared. 2 minus 1 is 1, leaving a positive 1x squared plus 10x plus 9 all over the denominator left alone, x plus 5 quantity squared. We have the derivative written as a single fraction. All the powers are positive, so we can set the numerator equal to 0 and the denominator equal to 0 and solve for each of the x's. Starting with the numerator, x squared plus 10x plus 9 equals 0. We have a trinomial quadratic, and we can attempt to trinomial factor it into x and x. We need two numbers that multiply to be a positive 9 and add to be a positive 10. Sounds like positive 9 and positive 1 will take care of that. And that leads to x equaling a negative 9 and a negative 1. Now to work with the denominator, x plus 5 squared equals 0. The first thing to do is take the square root of both sides to get rid of the square power. Square and square cancel each other, leaving an x plus 5 equal to 0. And we can subtract 5 from both sides, so x equals a negative 5. We now will check and see if these are in the domain. The domain is all real numbers except for negative 5. X equals negative 9 is a real number, and it's not a negative 5, so we keep it. X equals negative 1 is a real number, and it's not a negative 5, we keep it. X equals negative 5 is not in the domain, we will not keep it. And there are the two critical numbers for the function, x equals negative 9 and x equals negative 1.